Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Gracias. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Mildred, we are down to the final line, but it always, it's so wonderful to have this conversation and close with such an important topic, which has to do with how we're showing up. We've been talking about it today in different venues, in different ways, through different lenses. But it really comes down to how do we show up for others, either through public speaking, through our leadership presence, through our personal brand, in media, which is where you've been most of your journey. And as Latinas, there's a mind issue there, talking about mindset with what we were talking about with Brenda and Juliana, right? There's this limiting belief of maybe I'm not good enough, me voy a ver de otra manera, very aggressive, or maybe I'm going to look braggy. So you've had an amazing career in media as a journalist, a producer, a speaker, and are now focused on coaching leaders on how do they show up. So share with us your wisdom on how do we activate this other part of showing up.
First of all, thank you so much, Ileana. I'm grateful for the opportunity. It's been really fascinating listening throughout these past couple hours, and thank you for inviting me. It's a privilege to be here with all of you. I feel so honored, and congratulations to all your organizers for putting this together, for giving us a platform to share perspective, insights, ideas, and even just so that we can actually brainstorm, but also allow ourselves to talk about also the bad things, the things that don't work, the things that frustrate us. So thank you for giving us the platform, because it really is a fascinating place to be and to learn. I've learned so much from everyone. And as you said, I am a journalist by profession in the US, and I've been privileged to work in the media. I was raised in New York City, and I worked in media throughout New York City, in television. I've done radio and also print, but most of my time in television. And I can't tell you how fascinated I am by the stories I've heard today, because I am about storytelling. And so with that said, you've mentioned, so how do we show up? How do we use everything that you've shared today? Everyone has a unique story that we all want to hear, that we all want to learn from, because we all have our unique fingerprints. No one here is alike. We all have something to share, to add value to someone else. And so one of the things that I've done, and I worked in television for 15 years. I ended my television career with working for NBC Telemundo in New York City. And I came from the general market from MSNBC, and I worked there for many years as a producer for Pat Buchanan and Bill Press and CNBC. And one of the things that I did, and I have to share, is two things. One, strategy. I have always been very strategic about my career, where I wanted to go next. It was never an afterthought. It was never, I don't know. It was really strategy. I always thought I need to be a step ahead of everyone else. As you know, and especially for media, New York is the #1 market in general market, and we all wanted to be part of it. It was really difficult and complicated to get in, but when we plan our steps, when we strategize, when we also find those mentors that you spoke about earlier today, how do we get that? And secondly, the most important thing is believe in ourselves. That means, for me, I believed in myself. I believed in the value proposition that I brought to the table wherever it was that I was going to land in my career. I never second guessed myself. I always thought of myself as an added value to any space that I was going to be in. As you can imagine, at the time, certainly, being Hispanic, and also at that time, we've heard of the Ricky Martins of the world, and Latinos was really beginning to be a great opportunity. And so for me, it was, okay, this is the time. And one of the things that I always encourage whenever I speak at conferences, or whenever I have the opportunity, I also teach at a university level. I always say to my students, picture yourselves where you think you deserve to be. That's the first thing. And for me, it was, well, I know I can go into television, to Spanish language television. I know I can be in that market. I am bilingual. I speak both languages. I was born in Guatemala and raised in New York. But I really need to make sure that I have a wider opportunity for myself, a wider platform where I can really navigate the entire system of television. And so therefore, I encouraged myself, I make sure that I was at the top of my game to actually start in general market. And that was the reason most people ask, well, why didn't you start with Hispanic media? Because I really wanted to create more opportunities for myself. Because I knew that at that time there was a need for Spanish speakers to actually translate to the anchors, to the reporters, to go out and do undercover, to do other things that other people were limited. Yet I saw all the value that I brought to the table by being bilingual. And that's the very first thing. And so I encourage all the moms who are here that if you have children right now who are starting off in their careers, I cannot tell you how blessed I feel that my mom at home from very young age, when I moved from Guatemala, I didn't speak the language, to New York at 7 years old. My mom, the first thing to us was, you will speak Spanish at home and you will learn English at school. That was the best thing that she could have ever done for me, because I am fully bilingual. I have been in both markets. I had the privilege to actually work for both. And I transitioned to Telemundo because I wanted to be part of my community, which is what we all have here in common. We can all be part of our communities and really build out, because we are bicultural, bilingual. We have a lot to share from our cultures, from our families, in our personal and professional life, which really add value to any corporate entity that's out there that's really looking to expand and to create opportunity. And so the first thing is really understanding who we are and how much we can actually add value to any institution that we go into, regardless of where you are. That created the opportunity that when NBC bought Telemundo, that I then asked, I want to transition to Telemundo and become the strategy for building both markets and really become the alliance between both. And that's really what happened for me, where I created a world where I could actually go and navigate between Telemundo and NBC, and created being part of all documentaries and being part of a lot more platforms as a professional. And so to me, the very first thing is believe in yourself, believe in understand what your value proposition is. And one of the things that I share with that, in sharing what is your value proposition, and this is more of something that I share whenever I coach other leaders who are at high-level leaders, whether they're in government or also in corporate entities, is identify what is that value proposition. Develop a plan. Do 3 objectives of what you want to achieve, but more importantly, create a personal brand of your profession. I understand that many work for companies, and usually you sort of shy away and really give in to, well, this is what I do, and you sort of begin to build around yourself the barriers on your own, because you limit yourself instead of saying and speaking out to your management and saying, well, you know, this is what I do here, and this is how I would like to also create my brand. And creating that personal brand is important because, as you know, time will go, time will pass, and we need to always be thinking, where am I going to be in the next 5 years? Where would I like to be? And I think today, having an international market, we live in a global market where it's no longer, we're just working in New York, we're just working one state in the US. We actually can connect internationally. And so really investing in yourself, investing in understanding what is your plan, invest in people. What is your people plan? We usually invest in finance and understand what is that plan. Invest in people. Who are those people around you that are key to what you want to do presently and into the future? And finally, build your image. Really think about your image. I know many have mentioned how much social media puts a lot of pressure on us, but it's there. Let's use it. It's an amazing channel. I can tell you 10 years ago, 20 years ago, actually, thinking of what you're actually doing today and what we're doing, we've come so far. We don't need television anymore. It's becoming obsolete because everything is digital.
I think you bring in a lot of really powerful gems that in a way we've been hearing throughout the session today, but it's wonderful that you're bringing them all home. The envisioning, which we heard from the beginning, since Ileana Musa, and then all through the different ones, identifying our value in different ways, the value that we bring, our superpower, because we all have these superpowers, building our personal brand and knowing what that is so that then we can talk about it, and then building that image, right? Because it's not only about knowing it internally, but then how do we make sure that we connected with others, that we transmit that to others? And it is not only through writing it down somewhere. Like we need to live it, breathe it, think about it. When we walk into a room, how are you walking into a room? How are you putting yourself in a space? Is it, calladita hasta atrás en una orilla? Is it like taking the seat front and center? I'm not even 5 foot tall. Like, how do you make yourself be seen no matter what? And I know that that's a lot of the things that you support and that you coach the people that you now coach on. Public speaking is something that here at United Latinas, we feel it's pivotal to growing any one of us, either through our businesses or through our personal careers or in both spaces where we are. What would you say? Because we have like 10 minutes, no, less than 10 minutes. We have like 6 minutes left. But what would you say are the key things to think about from a public speaking or a leadership presence perspective that people need to think about as they move away? Because public speaking is not something that we have in our minds as a competency and a skill that we need to develop, but it's primary to be able to get to that next level.
Thank you, Liana. In respect of time, so there are 4 attributes that a powerful spokesperson needs to have, and that's credibility, to be able to articulate communication clearly, charisma and presence, that has to be part of your image. It has to be part of it. How we show up, how you look. Are you dressed appropriately for the occasion? What will you say? Who will you connect with when you're showing up at a place? Empathy and understanding. And so those are 4 key powerful attributes that we can all have, that we can all learn. And it really is, it does require practice. And so one of the things that I usually tell people that I work with, and that we actually do this and we engage and we practice, preparation plus practice equals trust and success. You want to really build out that trust. You want people to understand. And so next time you're putting things on social media, LinkedIn is by far my favorite. Because it is a professional network, because they are decision makers, because there are opportunities we can create from LinkedIn, new leads. Next time you actually put something on LinkedIn, make sure that it is what you want people to see from you. Remember, it is about perception. So I kid you not, that's one of the reasons why in television, you look at many of the TV shows in the US and series, especially when it comes to broadcast news, we really look at all the details, how our anchors are dressed, how our anchors will convey what they say. We write everything. We make sure that it's written correctly. So really think of yourselves as that anchor. Next time you're going to convey, you're going to participate at a conference, because people will start looking at you with a different lens. And you want that. You want to really be a great spokesperson for what you believe in, for that message that you're putting out there. And other tips that I like to just leave you with is, next time you're really thinking, okay, I've been invited to be a speaker. So understand 4 things. 1, what is that? Have the clearance, understanding what will you be speaking about, and understanding, are you going to persuade? Are you going to motivate? Are you going to inform, educate? Are you going to promote an idea? What is it that you would like to do? Because understanding that really gives you the tools for you to begin writing that speech that really needs to have those 4 attributes that I just mentioned, especially doing research and really understanding what is it that's going to connect with your audience. Understanding what that audience is key. And next time you're invited, also do ask whoever is inviting you. If it's going to be a live conference and you're going to be there, send me pictures of that stage. How does that stage, what does it look like? Will I be speaking behind a podium? Do I have a microphone? Please make sure you have water for me. Really look at all these elements and make sure, if you do have time before everyone else, in advance, do like the advance team. Whenever the FBI has to send someone before that, we have to make sure that we cover all ends of it, so that in advance, actually show up and find yourself on that stage. Walk, and you start from the middle to one side. You identify one person that you can connect your eyes with. You walk to the center, and then you walk again to the other side. You need to really make sure that people there will connect with you.
I love all the tips that you just shared: credibility, articulate communication, charisma and presence, empathy and understanding, and then making sure that you do that, walking that deep understanding of what's the type of stage, virtual or in person, to make sure that you're always fully aware of not only your presence, but your connection with your audience. I love all of those tips. What is the one key takeaway action that all of our audience, both everybody that's here now and then everybody that's going to watch us on the replay, what do you say? This is the one thing that if you don't do anything else, this is the one thing that you need to do today to activate.
I have a motto, and my motto has always been, and I created that motto, believe it or not, when I was 8 years old, and that's the sky's the limit. Therefore, we do not put limits in our lives. I remember at that time in that public school 46, PS 46 in Brooklyn, when I was there showing up for 4th grade, our teacher, and I still remember her, she was Puerto Rican, and she played for us because we were learning a song, and the song was El Sueño Imposible de Danny Rivera, the Puerto Rican singer. That stayed in my head forever. And I've got to tell you that as a result of that, I created The Sky's the Limit. Because for me, I think that when we really stop thinking of ourselves that we have limitations, we really build out opportunities and continuously reinvent ourselves. We need to think about, we need to continuously reinvent ourselves, our opportunities, our purpose, because that will really spread and create an opportunity for us that's just endless. So thank you so much, Ileana, for the opportunity to share with these amazing professional women who I just dearly wish all of you so much success, and happy to connect with you in any way through LinkedIn. And certainly I hope that the tips that I've shared for you to read, that can really help. And also buy your books. This is actually
Yes.
the rule, the 3-minute rule. And this really gives you great information about how to build that presentation, that pitch in those 3 minutes. And TED, they created, actually, TED is so wonderful because they actually design what you should say in 18 minutes or less.
Absolutely. And we are going to have one of our programs the second half of the year within United Latinas as part of the Speakers Club. We will have a program on how to build your TEDx presentation as well. So more to come. And I want to just invite all of our speakers that are still here, if they want to turn on their cameras. If not, that's okay. Just to say goodbye to all of you. I can't believe that 3 hours went by. It's just been amazing, the amount of energy, the amount of just love and connection and great tips. It's just been spectacular. Thank you to everybody for making space, for making the time, for being present. We know that you might have had many other things to do today, so the fact that you showed up all here, even if it was for 30 minutes, we truly appreciate it.
Yeah. And those of you that are here, it's because you know you should be here, right? This is a community, and all of the conversations today stemmed at is really understanding our power, understanding our worth, and understanding our obligation, not just to ourselves, but the communities around us that are expecting for us, because we demand that of ourselves. Right? We are the ones responsible for the lives that we create. So we are the ones, that's why this is Activate. It is activating us. What do we need to do to move the ball forward in our lives? And that is what we want to inject in all of you, because some of you are living on the cusp, in the getting by and comfortable zone. We want to get you out of that comfort zone, or move that goalpost comfort zone to another level, because number one, you are worthy of it. Number two, you are more powerful than what you are utilizing today in your energy. You are way more powerful, and we are not even close to tapping into our potential. And that is what these speakers brought out of us. There is nothing that what you are doing today, you are playing at a low level. It is time to level up. It is time to move the goalpost. It is time to move your abilities and your action steps to another level, not because whether you want to or not, but because you can. And if we can, we should, right? How do you want to live at the end of the day? How do you want to die at the end of the day? And that's one thing that I had one time from a conversation is, do you want to die saying, I didn't do that because I was scared. I didn't speak on that stage because I was scared, but I'm okay with that. You're not going to be okay with that. You need to tap into yourself and understand that, you know what? I have to become the best version of myself. And United Latinas is a platform where we want to see that happen. We want to see all of you go beyond your comfort level and move past that into what can we do? What can we do? What can I do? That's really the question. What can I do if I push beyond my comfort level? And I'm sure all of you feel that way. What can I do if I push beyond my comfort level? What else can I accomplish? Who else can I impact? And through United Latinas, we plan to impact thousands, hundreds of thousands of Latinas that feel they are undeserved, they are not represented, their voices don't matter, and you are the voices for them. And that is what our platform is made for. And we are curating intellectual thought leaders and beautiful human beings that can educate us on some of those things, and move the ball forward. Porque si te queda donde está, se va a quedar donde está, right? You are not going to move forward unless you take the action to say, you know what? I got to level up. Stop playing small. Stop playing small. Level up.
And we're pulling each other up, because that's the way. When we're in the down, you have a community out here that will cheer you up so that we all rise. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We really hope that this was helpful, that this was energizing, empowering, and that you have the energy to take you through not only the rest of your day, but the rest of your week, the rest of the year. Stay tuned, connect, join, and know that you have a community here that will help you no matter what. Thank you so much. We hope you have a wonderful day wherever in the world you are. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Sandra and Eliana.
Thank you,
Have a
guys.
good one.
Join us
Bye-bye.
on our Mighty Hub Network, guys. For those of you, we'll put it in the chat again, my unitedlatinas.mn.co. You can meet other Latinas near you and across the globe. So,
absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your